Hey guys, I'm back, and this time I'm going to be checking out the Miui custom ROM for the Nexus 4. Now, Miui doesn't officially support the Nexus 4 right now, so this is actually a port, but it's pretty solid and it's pretty stable. Now, straight away you're going to notice how different this looks from stock Android. It's also taken some cues from iOS in the way that it's got rid of the Android app drawer, so all your apps and all your icons are just on the home screen all the time. You can also swipe all the way left to get to universal search. If you pull down from the notification shade, you've got your notifications and toggles, which are in different panels, and you can switch between them. You've also got your settings in the top right hand corner, and just note how smooth this ROM is. It's definitely one of the smoothest ROMs I've used on the Nexus 4. Okay, so let's check this out in a little bit more detail and see what it's all about. So I'm just going to go through some of the apps here and check them out. We'll start off with the calculator, and again, I just want to note that transition is very smooth and fast. I do prefer that transition to what we have in stock Android. I kind of wish we had it there, but you can just see how smooth it is. So there you go. The calculator itself is lighter than what we have in stock Android, but it's basically a calculator. I know no one really cares about the calculator. It functions just like the other one does. Move on to the gallery, and this looks a little bit different as well. You've got your images up here, you've got your local images and cloud images. I did actually take this picture using the camera with this ROM installed, so it does work on the port for the Nexus 4. Pretty much everything works on the port. I haven't had any issues. We dive into the music player here. Again, it's very minimalistic. This ROM seems to be very minimalistic, and that's the kind of feel you get from it. I like this music player. If we dive into recommended, again, you can just see that nice transition, and the whole thing has that kind of bouncy effect. You can see that there, pretty much like iOS, it has that kind of bouncy effect, and it just makes it look a little bit more polished and feel a little bit more elegant as well. We'll skip themes just for the second. We'll check out settings. You've got common settings and complete settings. Your common settings are stuff that it thinks you're going to use the most, like wireless LAN, Bluetooth, brightness, wallpaper, all that sort of stuff. Swipe over to complete settings, and this looks like exactly like stock Android, except the fact that it has a white theme instead of the dark theme, or a light theme I should say. But yeah, the settings are pretty much identical, bar a few extra things which we'll check out. We've got the Play Store here, we've got folders and folder animations are a little bit different here as well. Again, you can see that silver rim. That is taken pretty much directly out of iOS. If you click it, you can see the background fades out and the folder completely covers your screen. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that. I like the transition, but it takes up your whole screen. I much prefer the way stock Android does it with taking up a little bit of your screen. You can still see what your screen or your widgets are doing. So yeah. If we dive into the weather app again, really nice weather app. You can see the animation in the background is moving. Very minimalistic and a nice feel. I don't know if you can see this, but the kind of edges of the app are kind of curved instead of just rectangular. So that's kind of interesting as well. If we move into the phone app, you can see this is again quite different to what we normally have in stock Android. And if we swipe over to contacts, and if I go into me, you can just see how different it is. So you've got your numbers here, you've got your updates, which you can go into here. It's kind of cool, right? So you can see all the updates of what I've been doing and things like that. And if you ring somebody, let's ring someone just for a quick test. We can bring up the keypad here and let's type in some numbers. You can just see how it brings it up, and you got your keypad here and other stuff. We'll just cancel that before somebody picks up. And note that transition, that was very iOS-y. I think that transition was basically taken directly out of iOS. So you can see how much stuff has kind of been, how this ROM has been influenced by iOS. It's pretty damn heavy. We go into system here. This is all stuff that comes installed with it. You've got the updater, password, you've got antivirus built in, permissions, feedback for Miui. You've got Miui credits as well. It really is its own thing, you know, and you can kind of buy other stuff with My Credits and things like that. So yeah, so here's the Miui lock screen. You've got your clock, your date, and the actual day you're on, and you can unlock your device to your phone, your camera, your messaging, or just unlock to your home screens right there. You can also see we've got the calendar up here, and I really like the calendar. You can see if we just wait a second, this is kind of a live tile. So it's the 14th today. You should see it flick over any second now. Come on, flick over. There we go, and it's flicked over, and you can see Friday, and it gives you the month as well. If we jump into the calendar here, you can see, again, very minimalistic, but really well made. It's just a really nice ROM in general, actually. Yeah, so there's your calendar. Now, I said we'll go back to the themes, so let's go back to the themes. Now, if we go to the theme manager, it kind of gets these online, and because Miui is a Chinese ROM, pretty much a lot of the stuff is in Chinese. You can see it here, which I just don't understand. So you can click online, and it loads up, and you can kind of change your themes. Some of them you do have to use actual my credits. You can see 3 my credits, which I have no idea actually what they are, how to get them, but nonetheless you can just see how much of an infrastructure it actually has if it has my credits. But I did download a free theme, which you can see right here. We'll hit apply. Again, it's all in Chinese. You can see applying theme comes up. Successfully applied, and you can just see once the launcher reloads how heavily themed you can possibly make it. So it's definitely still got the customizability of Android, if that is even a real word, but it definitely has that iOS look. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. If we lock the screen here, you can see the lock screen, how it differs. You can pull this down to get to your phone, and you can pull this down to unlock. So that's kind of cool, right? If you hit this menu button in the bottom left-hand corner, you've got a few more settings, and you do also have launcher settings. So you can dive into these. You can change your transition effects. You can change your scroll types. You can also change your grid, and you've got keep in memory and icon shadow right there. You don't have to install a separate launcher for that either. And I think if you do a gesture here, yep, you've got a very TouchWizzy-like interface where you can add your widgets, because obviously we don't have the app drawer to go through them, so that's where they are. So there you go, guys. That's my MyUI custom ROM review on the Nexus 4, and like I said at the beginning of the video, it is still a port for the Nexus 4, so I have encountered a few issues. For example, when I plugged it into my computer, the only folders I can see was the ringtones folder and the camera folder. I couldn't see the rest of my internal storage, so I'm not quite sure why that is. So just take note that on the Nexus 4 it's not 100% stable, but nonetheless it's an awesome ROM, and it's very different to anything we've seen on any other custom ROM. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and peace out.